the fact that Taiwan is so safe. Like, I can take my daughter to the park at 9 o'clock at night when she refuses to go to sleep, and we can stay there for an hour and be fine and safe and happy. Taiwan is not perfect. There are things that I definitely think could improve, but it's perfect for us.
Today's VIP guest might be from one of the most famous families here on Taiwanese YouTube.
What?
Sabai.
Hello.
Who are you? Where are you from? And how did you end up here in Taiwan?
I actually moved to Taiwan when I was 13. It was the day before my birthday, so I say 12. So I have been here longer than I have been in the US. So my parents are missionaries. So my dad came here to take the church. He moved here. The plan was to never leave. And me and my twin sister were like, what in the world is going on here? We were just about to go into high school, which in the States is a huge deal. High school is like your peak moment, you know? We were not really told that we were coming, so it was kind of like a big surprise. Yeah, we didn't find out until we were moving.
There's like random people that's coming in starting to steal your furniture. You're like, what's going on?
We're like, my parents' church announced that we were moving here. It was kind of like fast. Like within 2 months we were here. It was a big surprise. The first moment my dad's pastor friend came to pick us up, and his van had holes in the floor so you could see the asphalt. And I was like, what is this country? So Taipei is a pretty modern, cool city, right? But we don't live in Taipei. We live in Taoyuan, which 15 years ago, Taoyuan was literally the countryside. I was like, what is going on here? We're driving home from the airport, and I'm just seeing like dirty, dingy, old buildings. I'm seeing, you know, there's like random dogs everywhere. Like, I was like, what is going on here? Don't know anything about Taiwan, and this is what I'm seeing, and it's a shock. My dad originally was like, well, guys, you know, we're gonna be here for 5 years, so I want you guys to get comfortable. We're gonna find you a school, and it's gonna be fun. And the family that was my dad's pastor friend, we stayed with them for quite a bit. And so they had 3 teenage boys. My sister and I, we don't have brothers. So we've never had boys around, you know. And so it was like a culture shock, and then a
family
shock. And then they're obviously super interested in like playing pranks. And so some of our first meals here was like frog. We had, oh gosh, what did we have? Like sea snails. As an American kid who grew up literally the stereotypical like eating pizza and hamburgers, it was a huge culture shock. It was a huge family shock. It was like, what is this food? Like, people eat frogs? What in the world? You know, like I just couldn't wrap my head around it. So for the first 5 years of our time in Taiwan, my sister and I had this pact that we were going to move back when we turned 18. And even if my parents didn't come back, we were gonna go because we're 18 and we're adults now, you know? And that was life. We were homeschooled. We were not allowed to go to Taiwanese school because we didn't speak Mandarin. And so we ended up, my sister and I, we don't like to be bored. And so we did lots of little odd jobs. Like we nannied a couple kids. I worked at a clothing store. We tried selling cookies in the day market, like American cookies in the day market. Like we did all kinds of random odd jobs to kind of pass the time, save up a little money. At the time that we turned 18, my dad was like, I don't want to lose you guys, but if your dream is to go back to the States, you know, do it. It's okay. We don't mind, but we can't afford your plane tickets. So you're going to have to raise the money yourself. But what I can afford is your grandma put aside a college fund for you. So if you want, you can use that money to go and learn Mandarin. And so that moment in time was literally the pivot point of our lives, basically, because don't want to be here to all of a sudden, I have the freedom to leave, but I just need to do a little more before I leave. And my dad said, you know, don't you think it's going to be embarrassing if you go back after 5 years and you don't speak Mandarin? Like, you know, like, yeah, it is embarrassing. Like, as an 18-year-old, of course, you know, someone's gonna, oh, you lived in Asia? Cool, say this. And you're like, I can't, sorry. I didn't learn Mandarin.
I know how to say frog and snail.
Yeah, exactly. I know how to cuss, that's it. That might be a step up in the corporate world to be like, oh, I know how to speak Mandarin. You know, you can get better jobs, better opportunities. So my dad put us into a Chinese learning immersion center. And And it changed everything. At the end of the first semester, we could speak conversational, little bits of like, we could go to the grocery store now and ask for a bag and it's not a hassle. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't understand is like when you don't speak the language of the country you live in, it doesn't matter how amazing that country is, it's going to be difficult. There's so many little things that people don't understand. When you don't speak a language, it adds so much to what that experience in that country is. And then all of a sudden, you can. And it's like, I can read a menu. I don't have to order the frog anymore. And you start to explore and you start to make friends. And then they teach you things about their culture that you had no idea. Living here for 5 years and you had no idea.
And speaking about learning a new language, that is exactly what the sponsor of today's video, Funday, can help you with. As you might already know, Funday is my absolute favorite English learning platform for 2 reasons. 1, you can actually attend real live classes with real teachers and real classmates pretty much whenever you want, assuming that you do want to attend these classes between 6 a.m. and 2 a.m. Taiwan time. And the second reason being that there's only 4 to 5 classmates per class, so although the classes are 100% online, you're still not only expected, but actually required to actually do pay attention, since you will have a lot of interaction directly with the teacher who will make sure to correct anything and everything you might need to improve when it comes to your English capabilities. And not only are Funday offering classes every single day of the week, they're also offering classes on more or less every single English level as well, from total beginners to more advanced and very topic-specific classes as well. With Funday, you will also get access to a lot of extra material, so you can study on your own in between all these different classes, but maybe my favorite function is that you will also get access to all your previous classes as well, so you can actually re-watch them in your own pace, in case there is something you still may not understand or simply want to go over again. If you want some more information, please do click the link down in the description, and by doing so, you can also get to attend 2 Funday classes for free, just to make sure that Funday is right for you. Now, let's head back to Sabai and then hear more about her interesting life here in Taiwan.
Then, obviously, I met Eric when I was 18, and he was an English major. So we both spoke each other's language. And so for me, I mean, I had always thought, like, I'll never date a Taiwanese guy because there's so...
Because I'll not understand.
Yeah, but there's so much I don't understand. There's so much in terms of, like, cultural differences that I'll never be able to grasp. But as you slowly start to learn Mandarin, you start to understand, oh, that's why they say things like that, because it's so normal in Mandarin. Like, for example, if someone asks you when they meet, like, oh, you've gotten chubbier, in English...
Yeah. Every time.
That is so insulting. But in Mandarin, it's so normal. It's just the way they talk. It's just learning to accept that there's a different language and that language shapes how they think and how they are. And that changed everything too, because now all of a sudden you're in love, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I would never leave at this point. Like, why would I, And so then it's like, okay, well now I need to get into university. This is not something a lot of people don't know, is that because I was homeschooled, Taiwanese universities do not accept homeschool as a legit form of schooling. So in the States, I have a legit, degree that says I graduated from high school. In Taiwan, no, I can't go to college. I applied, I got in. Well, I was gonna be a Taike Da, but there's a roadblock here. So what do? So I started teaching. And so the place that I worked, I was not a teacher. I was just hanging out with the kids. So we would play games, we would play cards, we would, just hanging out. And that's kind of what started this path of like, okay, there are options here in Taiwan. My husband graduated and we got married right then, like 21 years old. So my original visa was under my dad's. But once you turn 18, you have to get your own visa. And so the conversation was brought up as like, okay, I might be leaving. Like, there's nothing I can do to stay. Then it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? At the time, boyfriend was like, well, I mean, let's get married. I'm down.
I don't mind.
I'm good. And so he starts talking to his parents about marriage, and they're like, you're 21 years old. Like, that's unheard of in Taiwan. Who gets married that young? And she's not pregnant? Like, are you sure? Like, this is crazy. Like, what's going on here?
Plan B. Now I know what to do.
Yeah, so it was kind of like another point in life where it's like, okay, you have to choose between, do you want to stay in Taiwan or do you want to move to the States? And I told Eric, I said, hey, I don't want you to have to marry me. He was like, no, like, let's get married. And then my parents were like, hey, why don't you just get your APRC? You've been here long enough. And I was like, oh, duh. I was like, sorry, Eric, I don't need you. I can get my own visa, okay? But at that time, we were already like, okay, like, you know, once you start that conversation, you don't just be like, oh, we'll just put a lid on this for now and we'll just stick that right back in the corner where it came from. And he was like, I don't care if I'm marrying you for a visa. Like, I chose you. Like, I want to marry you. And so we just did. A year and a half later, we're like, well, okay, now comes the question of children. And my mom was like, have a kid? Absolutely. You know, because grandparents, who doesn't want grandkids? So I get pregnant. And my dad gets really, really sick. The doctor was like, we're concerned that he possibly has cancer. And can you imagine? At the time, I think I was like 4 months pregnant. And now my dad is literally like on his deathbed. My parents decided that the best thing to do would be to go back to the States. They were going to go back for medical care. So now I'm in Taiwan. I'm like, I can't do this with a baby. You know, like, what do you do? And my husband was working like 12 hours a day. It was like, how are we going to take care of this child with my mom gone? Like, what do we do? You know, at the time, it was one of the most stressful, like, not anything I'd ever imagined for my life. And one day Eric comes home from work and he's like, we're going to work for ourselves. We're going to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, I was against it. I was like, that is ridiculous. We have a child to take care of. And then all of a sudden he's this dreamer and I'm the logical one. Like, what is going on here? And he's like, no, we're going to start a YouTube channel and I'm going to run it. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. Just let me take care of it.
And here we are now.
Yeah.
Me and my fiance, we're not married now.
Yes.
But we just got engaged. And now we are in the process of starting a second YouTube channel together.
Yes.
Do you have any like pro tip on how to raise a couple YouTube channel?
Okay.
/ and or a baby?
This is kind of hard because I have no idea how to run a YouTube channel. I really don't. I cannot stress this enough. Like, we fight about YouTube and only YouTube. Being together 24/7 is extremely difficult, especially when you're trying to build something. What we do basically right now is marriage hat, and then it comes off when working time. And when we're working, it's working hat. We're colleagues. We are not married. It's not emotional. There's no feelings involved. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. We talk it out. We discuss. But finding that balance is so hard.
For me, it was more like before, when YouTube was a hobby for me.
Yeah.
I could not really find the balance. It was just like I go all in on this and then I all in on that. And then I had like 5 other things that I just had to sacrifice because I could not find the balance.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
I want to make everything work.
Yeah. One, marriage comes first. If a video topic or something that you guys just don't agree on, don't do it. It's not worth it. The second thing, I think that if someone needs a break, you have to take it. Get some alone time, recharge, and we'll reconvene. Do it. Making the partnership the main focus, and the videos have to come second. But at the same time, keeping that balance of like, this is our job. This is how we make money. This is our income. So if you decide to take a month off, that's a month of no income. You know, is that going to be okay? You know, so work hat, marriage hat, don't get them twisted, and don't let the small arguments that you have while you're filming or while you're working come into your marriage. Who knows?
How about the third parent's baby hat?
So the parent hat is very different because I have been working with kids for the last 6 years, and that was my job, is to work with kids. So I kind of have an idea on how to talk to kids, whereas Eric has not dealt with kids. And so, you know, for him, I'm like, listen, I'm willing to take off my work hat and give you a little bit more of the like boss role. But when it comes to parenting, like, I have very strong opinions on how I want my daughter to be raised because, one, I think in this society, girls are seen as the weaker sex. And so how do I build confidence in my daughter? How do I make sure that she'll stand up for herself? How do I make sure that she feels that she has a voice in a room full of people? That is, I think, something that to me is so important when it comes to raising a child. For example, if my in-laws are watching my daughter, they get full control. I will not complain. I will not say anything about the parenting style because I think it's good to be exposed to different styles, and you know, I don't want to force them or make them uncomfortable about my parenting style. But when she's with me, my parenting style is going to be, you know, completely different. Having trust with your family members, or, you know, having trust that whatever environment they're in, I'm going to let the teacher do their job how they decide to do it. When I'm taking care of my child, I'm going to instill the qualities that I believe are important, and, you know, just keep an open mind.
What's the plan now then? Like, the plan is Taiwan for the foreseeable future, or like when she turns 13, you're going to send her to be homeschooled in the US? Just
Absolutely
like as a
no homeschooling.
generational payback?
No, absolutely no homeschooling. It's banned from our home. The plan right now is Taiwan. The fact that Taiwan is so safe. Like, I can take my daughter to the park at 9 o'clock at night when she refuses to go to sleep, and we can stay there for an hour and be fine and safe and happy, and there's gonna be other kids there. You know, there's no homeless people. There's no drug addicts. I love the States. I love where I grew up. I love America, right? But at the same time, I'm not gonna get that type of life. I'm not gonna take my daughter out to the park. I'm not gonna go to the gas station alone. I'm not going to even come to a different city by myself. It's just not going to happen. Taiwan is not perfect. There are things that I definitely think could improve, but it's perfect for us. The only slight flaw with Taiwan is the education system for children, because, I mean, my husband went to school from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. in high school every single day. That would be the only reason that I would leave. I would honestly feel like it's a sacrifice for my daughter. So Taiwanese school is the one thing that I'm like, you know, Taiwan would be perfect. Just be nice to the children, please.
What can we expect next? Do you have any like big projects or videos coming up?
For the next 2 weeks, we are filming a new series, and that'll probably come out mid-June. And we are inviting some special guests to Taiwan to experience Taiwanese life. And it's actually the son of the pastor that fed us frog.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see all the payback you're going to give him now.
Yeah. So he came once before, and we did a whole series with him. This time he's bringing his little brother and also their friend that came last time too. So it's going to be all three of them. It's going to be crazy. So the next couple weeks are going to be insane, full of filming, full of adventures, full of exciting things. And, you know, once that goes up, I'll let you know. You can post a link.
Absolutely. You will, as this comes out, you will have everything down below as well.
Yes. After that, there is going to be an exciting announcement on the channel. And then after that, we're doing another series with strangers. There is a lot going on for the next 3 months.
I know, again, my fiance is going to be like sitting there like refresh every time there's a new
You know what's
video.
so funny is that I realized the other day I follow your fiance on Instagram, but I didn't follow you.
I know. Tell me about it.
I didn't know. And when you messaged me, I was like, I don't follow. Shoot, that's embarrassing.
Oh, this is this guy. This is Minthia's fiance.
Oh, Minthia's fiance. Oh, cool. I'll be on Minthia's channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you so much. My name is Lucas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.
Bye.